Landing the E-flite 64 millimeter I found very easy. Now, to be fair, this is pretty windy conditions and kind of miserable. Now, I do something a little different than my friend here, as far as my setup, my approach, and kind of my technique on what I'm doing when I'm landing. So he skinned up his 64 a little bit and trying to learn how to land this thing. So him and I spent some time together on the differences of what he's doing, what I'm doing, and I want to share those things with you. So if you're struggling with landing your E-flite Viper 64 millimeter, you're going to want to listen. The first thing we have to do is make sure we have the right setup. So let me get into how my plane is set up. First, I'm using a 2200. I know the documentation says you could do a 3200, but just because it says it doesn't mean you should. Don't do it. Go with a lighter battery. Proper CG is another super important thing. Mine is set at 85 millimeters. I measure it. There's the ruler where I'm pointing to. That's pretty much where I'm marking it. My elevator has about 12 millimeters of deflection. Let's talk approach. So I want to point to my buddy here. Now, again, it's windy, it's a crummy day, but I do want to point out his approach is up high, and he decides that he's going to point the nose down to dive to get to the runway. The problem is that you have to time that perfectly, and he doesn't. He hits his nose wheel and then bounces up, which can cause some serious problems if you aren't on the power. Show you an example of a shallow approach. Here we come, and I am modulating that throttle just ever so slightly and giving some up elevator. If you can't give enough up elevator, you're not going to land on the mains. Here's another example of that low approach. And again, I am watching the plane. I'm feeding it throttle and just modulating that, throttle and feeding it a little elevator to get that nose up. Here's a fun drill to help you with modulating that throttle. All I'm doing is modulating throttle and just doing a flyby, nice and low and easy. Simple as that. Try it. Not every landing is going to be perfect. There are going to be times where you come in a little hot, you hit the mains, or hit all three at the same time and it leaps back up into the air. Just modulate that throttle and keep flying. Don't panic. A little bit, just nice, line her up. Give a little speed. What does she need? Need the nose up a little bit, and there she is. Oh, banged it a little bit. Landing practice, pick the right kind of day. Today, at this particular time, it is windy and a very fluffy air. As you can see, the plane's just bouncing all over the place. I will say though that all of the skills that I'm talking about still apply. You're watching the plane, you're feeding in throttle, you're giving elevator or reducing that to get that nose up so you get that perfect landing, or at least you get it in without flipping it over. Anyway, hope you got something out of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Appreciate it. Have a good one.